Hey people, so the last video I was talking about being a waiter, and I've had to break this into two videos because I went kind of over the time frame. And I was just expressing my view that this is an absolutely soul-destroying job. If you get into the rhythm of things, then it's not so difficult. Clearing tables, setting tables, if you get into the rhythm, it's relatively straightforward. But some of the downsides to being a waiter, universally, I believe, in every country, it's low paid. And with that low pay, then you do feel like you're being looked down on by people who are above you. You can't help getting that feeling. Maybe it's paranoia, but the story I gave, the experience I had this evening, I have a very bad feeling about that. And I'm in a very tricky position. If I quit that job, I'll have no money. But if I continue, I know I hate that environment. And I don't trust the guy who's employing me, because when I turned up, he barely knew who I was, even though he had made the initial phone call to myself. That was very disconcerting. And he just gave a really half-hearted sort of attitude, like he really didn't care if I was there or not. And he put it to one of his colleagues. Now, the colleague was a lot better. They showed me around, they showed me how it was done, and I did feel more comfortable with that colleague. But I'd just like to make a point. If you have been outside the working environment for a considerable length of time, paid working environment, excluding self-employment, which I've been doing for the past year and a half, if you've been outside a sort of teamwork working environment for a long time, that is honestly a very intimidating atmosphere. You're worried, am I going to get things wrong? Are people going to give me a hard time because I'm new and I'm getting things wrong? I'm going to let down customers. And in the end of the day, all you can do is your level best. And that's what I was doing tonight. But I still felt shit. I felt, you know, this just, I'm trying my best here. But, and I haven't made any major mistakes, but I have a very bad feeling about this. And I don't want to go back. And for people saying, oh, you should give it a chance, I've been a waiter twice before. I know what this line of work involves, and I absolutely detest it. Problem is, if I quit, sorry, I'm just getting coffee here, then what else do I have? In my city, it's very hard to get a 9 to 5 job. Some people, would say I'm lucky to have a job, and I think that's a fair point. I am lucky to have a job, but this is a shit job, and I can't win either way. If I'm unemployed, I face the social stigma that brings, as well as all the anxiety from having little money. And if I do this job, it's shit. It's just honestly shit, because for the reasons I've already stated. You're exploited. If something goes wrong, everyone blames the waiter or waitress. You're trying to multitask, which is very hard in that environment. And then the problem I also have is I'm the new kid here. Everyone else seems to already know each other. So I already feel very lonely. I know you don't go to a place of work to socialise anyway, but it would still be nice if you kind of knew people. Now my current feeling is I'm really tempted to quit. And I don't really want to. Because I feel that, it's been one day. But at the same time, I've done this before. And I don't want to constantly go in there feeling absolutely soul destroyed. And then there's another problem. If you're new to a job, not every restaurant is the same. For example, this is a buffet restaurant. So although I've been a waiter before, I've worked in standard restaurants before. In a buffet, things work differently. And the guy that was showing me around, he did show me quite a few things. He was helpful. But then there was other areas which I really hadn't been prepared for. For example, customers asking for the bill. So I then say that to the person at the counter. She says, oh, I can't do two things at once. I'm like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do? I haven't been trained as to how to go about that procedure. And I don't want to, because I'll do the wrong thing and I'll end up making the place look bad and messing it up for the customer. And I think, I believe work generally makes people cold. That might be a controversial statement, I don't care. I think someone has to say it. I believe people's personality changes when they're in a working environment, and I think that's tragic. I'm sure any one of those people, if I met on a social basis, I'd get on fine with. But in a working environment, it's like, oh, he's a new kid, he's slowing us down. And it's horrible. It's a horrible, soul destroying feeling. Um, and I honestly don't know what to do because, like I say, if I quit, oh, there'll be a stigma from that because people say, oh, you haven't given it a chance, even though I've been a waiter before, and I'll have no money. If I continue to go, I know how I feel in there, which is utterly soul destroying. Some customers are very decent and they're out for a night to enjoy themselves, but other customers are just plain stupid. They think that you could do everything at once. Um, they're openly rude, and they won't respond if you ask. Sir, madam, is everything okay? Can I take this plate? And then they just give you a blank look, and it's like, well, do I take it or do I not take it? What do you want? If you're still eating, no problem. Sorry to disturb you. If you're not eating, make it clear. But for goodness sake, don't ignore waiters because their job is to serve you. It's not to walk around looking like a headless chicken, you know? And quite often the job of waiters and waitresses is to go around and see what sort of level people are at. I honestly don't know what I'll do. I've had a lot of experience being in jobs that I've really hated. I've been a charity fundraiser. I've distributed magazines for a company. I've been a junior clerk. And honestly, I didn't like any of those. But of all of them, I can honestly say being a waiter is by far the shittest. It's just so soul destroying. If you're clearing plates and you get mess on your hands from the food, yeah, there might be a cloth or something, but it's very, very, very hard to keep absolutely clean throughout the night. And then you feel bad because you think, well, I have to set tables, I have to serve food, and so on. Um, you can't win really, and you know, I'm not making this video for to stress any sort of solutions, but I think there are several things. Customers need to remember that yes, you have every right to be treated well as a customer, but don't expect waiters to be superhuman and do everything at once because they can. I know there's circumstances where waiters might be ignoring you, and that's wrong. Waiters shouldn't do that. But, try and show some empathy is the wrong word because if you haven't done it, you won't know what I'm talking about. But um, decency. Just show some decency. If a waiter is clearly busy, then clearly they won't be able to serve you right there and then. Um, and, as for managers and so on who exploit their workers, I think they're disgusting. I mean, this guy, if he's got a business in the UK, he will be well aware that we have a minimum wage. He's not paying it. Now, like I say, the money isn't a problem. I would work for £5 an hour, I honestly would. And I'm not lazy. I'm prepared to work hard. But I'm not prepared to face that sort of environment every day where I'm being exploited and treated like shit. That's it. And I'm sure many of the other waiters, waitresses watching this video will see where I'm coming from. And also, you have to show empathy to each other. Don't give another waiter a hard time because they've got something wrong, or another waitress. Because then are you acting like you've never made a mistake? And I understand if their mistake impacts you, okay, I can understand your frustration there. But for God's sake, when it's someone's first day, as it was my first day, show some empathy. It just because it really puts people down, and it's not. It's a very unpleasant feeling. I feel I've been through this. And I don't want to go through it again. I know what it's about. I've given it a shot. I don't trust this guy. And if he phones again, difficulty now, of course, is everyone I've told, oh, I've got a job. You can't win in this world. May make some other videos about the general nature of work. Okay, I'll leave it there. Cheers.